Campbell. I'm currently a KU student and KU president of the ACLU. I am here to represent myself as a KU student to practice myself the First Amendment right of the Constitution. As most of you know, Chris Kobach is a leader in voter suppression. Recently, the ACLU took Chris Kobach to trial over his requirement that newly registered voters must provide proof of citizenship. Requiring proof of citizenship disenfranchises or makes it harder for people to vote, particularly people who are poor, people of color, other minorities, the elderly, and the disabled. These are all people Kobach does not want to vote. United States District Judge Julie Robinson presided over the ACLU's trial against Kobach. Kobach represented himself while using Kansas taxpayer expenses. Last Monday, Judge Robinson issued her ruling. Let's just say it was a good day for voting rights. In her 118-page opinion, Judge Robinson struck down the proof of citizenship requirement. Remember, Kobach justified his proof of citizenship law by claiming voter fraud. As Judge Robinson stated, the court determines that the magnitude of potentially disenfranchised voters impacted by the documentary proof of citizenship law cannot be justified by the scant evidence of non-citizen voter fraud. Judge Robertson went on to say, instead of helping to block voter fraud, the law acted as a deterrent to registration and voting for substantially more eligible Kansans than it has prevented ineligible voters from registering to vote. Judge Robertson held that the proof of citizenship requirement was unconstitutional and cannot be enforced in Kansas.
Woo!
However, Judge Robertson did not stop there by striking down Kobach's voter suppression law. Appalled by Kobach's lack of courtroom knowledge, Judge Robinson is requiring Kobach to complete 6 hours of remedial law classes before he can renew his law license. For Kansas voters, Judge Robinson's decision should mean that in elections this fall, people will not be required to provide proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. Unfortunately, Kobach has a track record of disobeying court orders. Remember back in April, Judge Robinson found Kobach in contempt of court for finding clear and convincing evidence that Kobach disobeyed court orders when he failed to ensure voter registration applications became fully registered. Less than a year before that, a judge in the same district fined Kobach for $1,000 for deliberately attempting to mislead the court. Kobach has a history of contempt for the rule of law, particularly when it comes to voter suppression in Kansas. The day after Judge Robinson's ruling, the ACLU sued Kobach again, this time over the unsecure and flawed cross-check system. Kobach uses a cross-check system which Kansans pay for to knock eligible voters off the rolls. There are better programs to ensure that no one is voting twice, so let's hope the ACLU is successful. And while the ACLU continues to fight the legal battles against Kobach, it is up to you guys and I to make sure that Kobach does not become the next governor of the state of Kansas.
Woo!
Now, these are the questions I ask you today to carry on with the days before Election Day, and feel free to spread them on to your friends, families, and relatives. Do we want a governor who makes it harder, not easier, for Kansas to vote?
No!
Do we want a governor who's on a mission to disenfranchise voters who belong in marginalized groups?
No!
Do we want a governor who's so incompetent he has been ordered by the federal judge to take a remedial law classes?
No!
Do we want a governor who perpetrates a non-existent voter fraud theory at all of the expense of Kansas taxpayers?
No!
Do you want a governor who won't follow federal law?
No!
Then to sustain a constitutional republic, we must take our natural given right of voting to make sure Kobach doesn't use his racist, undemocratic agenda to disenfranchise those who are practicing their right to vote. That's why I asked you on August 7th in the primary election and November 6th in a general election to vote for anyone but Chris Kobach. Kobach is wrong for Kansas. Please vote anyone but Chris Kobach.
Yeah.